Hello, it's Iino. Today, I would like to talk about the theme, labor management negotiations, at North American West Coast ports, finally reach a tentative agreement. On June 14, local time, the PMA, the employers' organization side, and the ILWU, the union side, announced that the two sides have reached a tentative agreement on a new 6-year collective bargaining agreement for the U.S. West Coast ports. Labor management negotiations at U.S. West Coast ports, which began in May 2022, have been unusually protracted, and most recently, tensions have been high, as port functions have been forced to partially shut down, due in part to slowdowns by the union. In a sudden turn of events, a tentative agreement has been reached between ILWU and PMA, and it appears that the logistical disruptions that had been feared will be avoided. At this time, the specific terms of the new agreement, tentatively reached between the two sides, have not been disclosed. The two parties will now proceed to formalize the agreement. The term of the new collective agreement is expected to be retroactive to July 1, 2022, when the previous agreement expired. Labor management negotiations, which began in May 2022, lasted an unprecedented 13 months, with strong expectations that the negotiations would be difficult from the outset. Negotiations initially showed little significant movement, and no major progress was seen after the U.S. midterm elections in the fall of 2022, which were to be the turning point in the negotiations. Although progress had been made since the beginning of the year, with labor and management agreeing on several major items, the conflict between them intensified in June. Tensions rose as union disputes led to the suspension of cargo handling functions at major ports. Although labor and management eventually reached a tentative agreement, according to local news reports, during the past week, it was unclear whether there would be a strike, lockout chaos, or an agreement. Labor negotiations, which have dragged on for as long as 13 months, have led to a noticeable shift by shippers away from the unstable West Coast ports and toward East Coast port routes. According to the Journal of Commerce, the West Coast port share of U.S. container imports from Asia fell from 62% in 2021 to 58.6% in 2022, and further to 56% in 2023, based on statistics for the January to May period only. Terminal operators in the West Coast ports are becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the protracted labor management negotiations, and some believe that this atmosphere has put pressure on unions and other parties to reach an agreement. At last, this round of labor management negotiations on the west coast of North America has come to an end, and although there was a bit of a struggle at the end of the process, the result seems to be a tentative agreement with no major disruptions. Cargo will flow smoothly, without any particular problems, before China's National Day on October 1 this year. Market demand in North America has also tightened considerably, with the Consumer Price Index in May at 4.0% year-on-year and about 9% at one point. Due to continued inflation and high prices, people are not buying goods anymore. This will most likely also suppress transportation demand for this year's Christmas season considerably. If this trend continues, spot freight rates will continue to fall, so shipping companies will probably increase the number of inactive vessels and adjust their supply. I personally feel that the end of this round of labor negotiations is a break for the next phase. I think the event that will be the focus from here on is decarbonization. Many shipping companies are developing ships with green energy and investing in next-generation energy. Digitalization is also something we should focus on. There is no digitalization that I am aware of so far that will cause innovation, so I will continue to pay attention to the changes in the industry in the future.